So we have one more session, one more speaker, and then we're going to do the announcement for the raffles. And then followed by that will be some, you want to stick around for some training to get your CP credits for the, what is it, HSE training? Yes, okay. So our next speaker is Brent Hansen. He brings over 19 years of IT experience in data enterprise architecture, data warehousing, big data, and business intelligence. He's an industry expert in data encryption, tokenization, and key management. He leads a team that architects security strategies to secure and protect sensitive data for both the federal government and large commercial enterprises. He's currently with Thales, CPO Federal, and in that organization he serves as the federal CTO as well as the director of solution architects for cloud protection and licensing. So I'd like to welcome Brent to give us a view. We've heard all about the problems today. We heard a lot about history and the problems we had 20 years ago. And so hopefully we'll see a little bit of insight from Brent on what we think the future for cybersecurity is and what some of the challenges are going forward. So
I will do my best to give you my experience and purview on what I see as the future of cybersecurity. But I would be remiss if I didn't give you some of the state of the union of where I believe we are at right now. And so as we go through this, if you have questions, by all means, let me know. I'm happy to address them as we go through. So thanks for the intro, Kirk. It sounds a lot fancier than I really am. I'm just a father of two that likes fast cars and action movies. I just happen to also be a data geek. But I've been in security for a long time, and in 7 days I'll have my 6-year Thales birthday. So it's been an interesting ride, and being able to straddle the commercial side, although these days I'm 100% federal. Being out there, understanding what the financial sector, healthcare, has really brought a lot of interesting insight into what I'm focusing on specifically now for federal. So it's been a good time. Before we got started, we were just talking that this looked like a flip phone. So in terms of kind of looking forward and how fast innovation is going, funny story, and then I promise I'll get to some slides so you guys can all get out of here and fight traffic. My son asked, we were watching TV the other day, someone had a flip phone. He said, "What's that, Dad?" "That's a flip phone." And he says, "Do they talk on it?" I'm like, yeah, that's Dad used to have one for it right here on my belt. Thought it was cool. And he's like, "So they really made those?" I'm like, "Absolutely." So, my son is 8, and just, rewinding back just the speed of innovation and where we're at now from flip phones to all the fancy gadgets we have. So anyway, I will move on. So I always like to start with just some stats and some additional participation. So I have 3 numbers, 19, 2, and 4. Anyone have a guess at perhaps what those might represent? So that's a good answer, but it's not the right one. So I will tell you. So it's called breakout time. So this article came out a few months ago. And breakout time is essentially when someone, perhaps a nation state, breaks into your network, how much time you have to shut down that particular event. And so if I were to be asked how I would rank these in terms of speed, this is not the order I would have answered them in, but based on the article, this is true. So if Russia penetrates your network, you've got 19 minutes before they're able to make a network hop onto another device. Now, 2 hours for North Koreans and 4 hours for China. So the point is that no longer does a 20-foot firewall protect us from the enemy. And they certainly don't have to work that hard because they just build a 21-foot ladder and then they climb over. And then we build a 22-foot ladder and it just continues to leapfrog on. But the point I'm making is that the threat is real. And we can no longer essentially put our budget, our resources, our effort into just protecting the perimeter. We have to really shrink wrap our protection down to the data object level, such as Richard covered earlier today. So, in terms of what I want to cover, so for State of the Union, every year we come out with a data threat report. And this data threat report is global. So we interview over 1,200 executives across the board in different verticals. Then we break it down to sectors. And so I will cover with you the findings of our federal data threat report in the next couple of slides, and then we'll talk about futures and talk about what I predict the future of cybersecurity to be based on what we're experiencing. So, in terms of digital transformation, so every year there's a couple of buzzwords. Zero trust, digital transformation, cloud. You ask people what that means, and you're going to have a different answer for perhaps everyone in this room. But from digital transformation, and you look at, based on our survey, the rate of adoption for digital transformation as it relates to these specific technologies, there's no wonder that the GovCloud adoption of software infrastructure platform as a service, right? They are leading what we would categorize as digital transformation. And then, of course, one of my personal favorites is containers, and we'll talk about IoT and big data. But with the innovation and with the rapid adoption of what we're able and the capabilities we can take advantage of now in cloud, I anticipate these to all be 100% perhaps next year or the following year after. So when you look at when you're deploying to software, infrastructure, platform as a service, when you look at these type of deployments, how do federal agencies feel in terms of vulnerability? So if you look on the right, you'll see that 42% feel very or extremely vulnerable. Now, I have a very pragmatic way that I interpret these results. And the interesting part is, although they feel vulnerable, 79% said that they felt their digital transformation initiatives, they felt 79% very or very secure about that deployment. Now, I call that a false sense of confidence, because in turn, only 30% are actually using data encryption as the control to protect that data in that digital transformation deployment. So, this slide only continues to look worse and worse. So I believe this is year 5 of the data threat report. And so when you look across federal governments, this states that 60% of agencies in our U.S. government have been compromised at one point or the other. Now, that's not to say we just turned over everything to a nation state. It could be a small event, it could be a large event. 35% were just breached last year. And the most disappointing fact that I continue to see raised is how many times the federal agency was breached in multiple years. So have you learned from your mistakes? Have you applied better practices around how you were compromised last time? And as we know, the threat continues to evolve, and it continues to be everywhere. It's inside and it's out. So, what some of these slides build a little bit slower. So this from a MultiCloud. So I can tell you when we did our data threat summit a few months ago, a lot of people feel that moving to the cloud automatically makes them more secure. And I agree with that in many ways, in terms of how quickly you can apply patches, how quickly you can react, how you can take advantage of AI. So that certainly makes you more secure. But when you add multi-cloud approaches to that, every cloud is kind of the same, but a little bit different. And you take advantage of different software as a service packages or infrastructure as a packages based on different clouds, whether you're forced to, whether you chose that, or whether you had no decision. And so having a multi-cloud approach, when you're taking your data and you are moving it to the cloud, and it's a multi-cloud approach, I don't believe we have all of the best practices nailed down in terms of how to effectively do that. So, what is it really required to help solve these? And just looking at a couple, I'll point out. So one is just 55% of security breaches in tax and provider. That is certainly a security issue. What are the tools needed? Again, I'm all about encryption. It is the most effective thing you can do. If you shrink wrap your protection so that data can defend itself, you've got an ability to not only defend yourself, but also provide optics in the event that there's behavior happening around sensitive data that could perhaps be damaging if it were to be out in the clear. And then the spending priorities. So I believe that there is and continues to be a distinct differentiation between awareness and what is actually put forth in practice. So although everyone agrees that data at rest encryption is the most effective control you can do, I guarantee that's not the #1 focus of budget. It's not. The budget continues to be on the perimeter, continues to be out in mobile devices. And so when I look at spending priorities, and I believe this is also some additional data points from the commercial side, but if I'm not going to learn from my lessons, how do I continue to improve and evolve my security posture as an organization or as an agency? And if you look at the state and local governments, they've taken a ransomware beating in the last year. And ransomware, I mean, it's just encryption, you just don't get the key, you got to pay for it. It's drastically disruptive to environments and shuts people down. So again, what for the future of cybersecurity, encryption has been around for a long time, and it can certainly empower and enable customers to do more things. So how do you essentially drive the adoption of IoT, cloud, big data, containers, right? I believe it's all through encryption. And again, it's all about the effectiveness of best practices of what a security posture looks like, what the application stack represents, and where you can put and apply security methods to protect those. So now I'm going to shift gears and talk a little bit about now and what I see as the future. So this is not a representation of the new 5G bandwidth that you're currently receiving on your cell phone. This is the growth of data. And we are right here. So the data growth, I think the rule of thumb used to be it doubled every 4 years. I think it may potentially be doubling every 6 months. So where is this data growth and where is it stored? And of course, as you see, the trend is in cloud. And I have this practice at home today, I'm sure you do as well. I don't have those USB hard drives anymore. I'm backing up pictures and documents, right? Stick it in Amazon. It feels free because I'm a Prime member. That I think represents a huge vulnerability because it's an enormous amount of data, and that data being stored in cloud is a huge target for insider threat, for nation states, and for.
Why is the consumer on such a decline?
So I think for this is where the data is stored. So the consumer is sticking their data in the cloud versus just backing that up.
By
at home.
consumer, it was privately stored
Right.
on their hard drive or
Yeah.
whatever. Okay, so that's not consumer adoption of cloud.
No, this is
Okay.
just consumption, and this is where the consumption, where that data resides. And so what does that mean for cybersecurity? And I agree with Richard's presentation earlier today. It is all about the data, make no mistake. And what you'll find is, again, data encryption is a very powerful, if not the most potent way to protect data, but it's only as good as how you do key management. If everyone's got keys to your data, then encrypting it makes it it makes it less powerful, or it makes it less potent in a way that it can protect itself. And so with access control, right, that is an additional capability across encryption that from a security posture standpoint, you can check boxes all day, but having a proactive way of managing access control around encryption, I believe is the most potent and most influential thing you can do in the data practice. Oftentimes when you look at some of these disruptive technologies like Hadoop, or you look at containers, no one sat in a room and said, let's build the most secure new platform for consuming data from data warehouses and making data lakes, right? Security is always in the rearview mirror. It's always actively applied to disruptive new technologies. So, I forgot, there were a couple more points here. So larger target, insider threat. Everything is cloud first these days versus in-house. And for data, it's all about cloud, it's all about subscription, it's all about paying for the compute that you need. When it comes to cloud specifically, looking at 2018, 182 billion, looking at 2022, 331 billion in terms of just the growth and the consumption. It's astronomical. It's a doubling figure. Infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, right, will continue to rise. But the adoption of cloud is, make no mistake, I'm not sure there will be any other data centers that companies own anymore. I believe everything will, essentially move to cloud. So what does that mean for cybersecurity? So some facts. So again, oftentimes legacy systems that are migrated to the cloud are automatically more protected than they ever have. Just the ability to patch, the ability to take advantage of AI in the cloud and some of the additional capabilities that cloud providers provide. Orchestration and automation drive speed, innovation. We're doing things faster today than we've ever been capable of doing. Back in the day, if I needed an Oracle server, it'd probably take me 2 weeks. Now, if I need an Oracle server, I can have it like that. I have it clustered. I have everything I need. The next generation application development and containers, microservices, the way we are creating and developing applications today with containers, microservices, will never go back. It is by far and dramatically increasing our ability to produce faster and our ability to react faster. And so when you take these capabilities and you're able to drive them into essentially an environment that you can have unlimited compute, you are very, very effective in your new application processes. And I always tell people a great time to use something like application encryption or tokenization is when you are creating a new application, you are modernizing. So there's lots of platform as a service, I think, opportunities for customers moving forward as they continue to modernize, do it right the first time, and you won't have to go back and retrofit security. AI, of course, continues to reduce response times and human intervention, but let's not forget adversaries also can take advantage of AI as well. Just like they do with encryption, it's called ransomware. And so when you look at multi-cloud approaches and what decisions are being made today on where data goes, doesn't necessarily mean that data 5 years from now will still be in AWS. Maybe it moved over to Azure, maybe it moved to Google, or IBM, or Oracle. Maybe you are forced to move into that platform for contractual reasons. How do you ensure that you're able to digitally shred your footprint of data when you have to do a data migration from cloud provider to cloud provider? I guarantee there's not one cloud provider that has all the data for an agency that will continue to be that for the longevity of that data's life cycle. I don't believe it. And then lessons learned from just data key repatriation. I'm already seeing it. I'm already seeing agencies coming to us to say, well, we went all in with cloud, we checked some boxes with encryption, and lo and behold, we just recognized that the cloud provider also has the keys. So we want to bring those keys home, and we want to be the owner of that key lifecycle. And so you're now starting to see some repatriation of keys and sometimes data as well. Oops, that data really shouldn't be there. I'm going to crypto shred the key and yank it back. So IoT, again, we talked a little bit about this with Richard, and these are just some of some popular and well-advertised compromises. My favorite is the fish tank. So if you look at IoT, and if you have a digital thermometer in a fish tank in